So this morning we're in a quarry in southern Ontario looking for, perfect. Just what I was looking for actually. We're looking for calcites. Right there. Root beer colored ones. Ooh, this might be actually a promising pocket. It's got some blades of celestine in there. So if it's not too damaged. There's a second one. We'll have to maybe get some help trying to do something with this guy. But there's also just like celestine in here and some interesting stuff. So I just decided to explore a little farther now that I know kind of what material the calcite is in. And I was flipping over some rocks and I found some stuff with calcite on it. For example, I got this little thumbnail specimen of a dogtooth crystal on just a chunk of celestine that was just sitting there. Here you can find celestine with some purple fluorite. And then I spotted this guy. If you see those cubes in there, I want to say that is fluorite. It could theoretically be some sort of cubic calcite, but that looks like cubic fluorite to me, which is pretty exciting. So I've got my fluorite piece, and I've just borrowed a fellow club member's saw. I've been sawing away at it so that I can extract it properly and then take it home and trim it up. Look at this. Oh, that's the sun in the shade in the way. I thought my fluorite was pretty impressive, but it looks, this is much better than mine. Hopefully they can extract it out, you can see. So
I'm curious what's behind it. Like,
here's calcite and then there's the fluorite. Hopefully they can get it out. Here are a couple of the other things they found in that same pile as the fluorite. This is a mix of celestine and calcite. Same here, but you got these purple fluorites on like the edges of the pocket, and that calcite is just banged up. And then we've got this guy with a pocket of smaller dog tooths there. So I've been cracking this with the chisel and hammer, just been going around slowly applying pressure, and I've got the crack going the way I want it. It's not splitting through the calcite pocket, which is the big thing. So let's see if we can just pry this off, or if I need to do a little bit more. Looks like I need to do a little bit more smashing. So I'll get back to you guys after I'm done and show you the final result. And here we have it popped off. Let's see, that was a pretty good break. Just basically split along this layer. I noticed that there was some fractures there, so just followed the natural fractures. We got ourselves a pocket. I'll take this home and trim it up on my trim saw. I think that'll be the best option instead of risking breaking it. So you can find sulfides here. I found this interesting multicolored stuff, so maybe like a chalcopyrite or maybe a marcasite or something that's been decomposing. That's pretty cool. On that same boulder that had the marcasite or some type of sulfide, I'm thinking maybe it's marcasite, found some calcites, some small calcites that have some weird like fluffy white mineralization on them. You can see those white dots. So I collected a handful of them, and those will have to be looked under a microscope with, just to see what those look like, because that looks pretty interesting, at least to me. So we've got some fluorites in this pocket here. And then I just noticed we got some calcite. This one actually might be loose. Yeah. Nice little thumbnail. There we go. A nice little thumbnail on matrix. But let's see if we can get this calcite loose, or not calcite, the fluorite loose. I'm hoping it's close to the edge, so I think I can do it. I mean, it's not perfect, but I got it extracted. There is just a little bit where the contact, where it was contacting the pocket, where it popped off, but overall, I'm pretty happy with that. Nice. 2 fluorite specimens in one day. I'm pretty happy with that. Finding some lovely calcites here too. Look at this nice double terminated floater. And here's another one that was just kind of sitting there, loosely blasted. We'll see if we can get this guy at least. I think I can. The rest of these, well, there we go. That one just popped off, and that doesn't look too bad. It's got some good crystals on it. So, keep that. And let's see what else we can get off of this one. Well, I would call that a good success. There's no damage, that's just contact on the other side of the pocket. Just popped out perfectly. Quite happy with that. She's just a small one, but we are finding some pyrites here. Nice shiny little octahedral pyrites. So that's quite exciting. So we've got some vugs of calcite here. This one's kind of cool. This one has, like, you see that calcite right there? That's a little stalactite. It's basically growing on top of another one and hanging off. It's pretty wonderful. Actually, I just noticed right here in the dust, I guess it got missed, a little tiny cube of fluorite, but it's got some pyrites on the back. It's kind of fantastic. So I think I'm gonna dig in here and see what I can pull out. Might be some smalls, but they'll be wonderful little thumbnails and micros. So we'll see what we can find. You can already see there's some calcite crystals in the back there. It's hard with the sun, but we'll see what we can get out. So that pocket produced a nice little pyrite, along with some more floater calcites and some calcites on a little bit of matrix. So it's doing well. But I'm quite happy with this little pyrite. That's fantastic. So at the top of this pocket, we've got a wonderful octahedral pyrite sitting there. So I'm gonna try and carefully extract it. But we'll have to see. I'm hoping it'll pop out. So far it's pretty solid. So here's that pyrite out. I'd say that's about a 1 centimeter crystal. Octahedral pyrite. I am quite happy with that. That is a spectacular little specimen. And it's very shiny. Once it cleans up, it'll look quite wonderful. This specimen, along with the fluorites that I found, are definitely trip makers. Just pulled out this wonderful little calcite specimen. It's got a little bit of damage on the one termination. So it's the end of the day, so we can just appreciate this. But to extract this, yeah, hopefully not. Hopefully the next time we're here again, it'll be here. But let's just appreciate these nice large golden dog tooths. We're just finishing up for the day. It's getting close to the end. One final calcite to appreciate. This one's a bunch of crystals just stacked up on each other, and their tips are nice and golden red. And then the bases are a bit more white, so a nice little classic example. And good luster to them too, so this was a good trip. I was told that it might not be the greatest, and it turned out to be pretty well. So here we have some of the finds cleaned up. I didn't come away with too much celestine specimens, or celestite, depends on what you want to say, but I've been told that, and I've seen some pictures of some of the specimens other people have found, and it seems like this location also produces some nice celestine as well. My main finds were the calcites, and then of course the fluorites, and I had some luck with some nice pyrite as well. So let's look at some of these finds. To start with, we'll look at the one celestine specimen I picked out to show you guys. This one came out of a side pocket off of a larger piece that I'm still going to trim down, that has a nice pocket of fluorite in it. There was a side pocket where I noticed this nice light blue, pretty see-through blade of celestine. We of course have our calcite specimens. This one just had a nice pocket with a good color to it and nice luster on the crystals. This one will get trimmed down. There were lots of calcite specimens found that day, and some good ones. Some nice sharpness with some good color on the end of them. This one I would have to say is one of my favorites. The color on this cluster out front is exceptional. They've got good luster to them. They're almost glossy. This is another one of my favorites, a nice double terminated, just perched on a fragment of limestone. That's how I extracted it. It was in a pocket, and some of the pockets, the limestone is kind of fractured, and then the calcite came in after, and this one had that where it had like a nice fractured pedestal, so it was easy to extract actually. It makes for a nice little perky box specimen, though it just barely fits actually. But yeah, the calcites, I have to say, are probably the best I've ever personally collected in Ontario. I was quite happy with my finds, and that location seems to promise some pretty big ones. Though the small specimens are nothing to turn down, of course. Some very lovely specimens of calcite. And there were some good DTs. Some of these have a bit of tip damage, like this one. This one tip is okay, but then this back tip, you can see where it keyed in with another calcite crystal in the pocket. Though technically I think this is multiple calcites stacked on top of each other to make like an elongated, double terminated looking specimen. And a lot of the specimens that I took out, one end you can see is got like contact points where it terminated into the edge of the pocket. So it's not like a perfect termination. It's either slightly damaged, or often it's terminated into the contact zone of the pocket. But still some very lovely calcite specimens nonetheless. As far as the fluorites go, actually some of my first finds were these chunks that had some very dark purple, tiny little fluorites. I took some pictures with my camera. I think this piece had a couple really nice, actually like well-formed dark purple fluorites. I'll throw those pictures up as I'm talking, but these made out for some nice micro specimens. Now this is one of the bigger fluorite specimens that I got. It's a nice double cube specimen with some of the corners are actually modified. You can see they've got almost like some little angular faces to them, which make it very interesting. And then some of these crystals have some stepping, and overall they're just quite lovely. They remind me a lot of the Dundas fluorites actually, so I'm quite happy to have found a couple nice specimens. Here's a smaller clear one, but what's cool about this one is you can see in the back it's got some pyrites that are grown into the matrix that it's sitting on, and you can see that through the tiny pyrite, and you can see that through the tiny fluorite cube, which is a nice little combo. A nice little fluorite cube with some tiny little octahedral pyrite. Some of the fluorite from this location actually has a very lovely light lavender color. This specimen is a modified fluorite crystal. I believe it probably fractured at one point and then got etched, because you can see that octahedral shape, and you can see this weird kind of almost etching and shape to it, and it makes it look very interesting. It's a very weird looking fluorite specimen, but it's got some lovely light purples, kind of actually mixed in with that kind of yellowish green of that previous larger specimen, so it makes for a very cool looking fluorite specimen. Here we've got an individual clear cube on matrix. The clarity on some of these are spectacular. And then another purple one. The purple ones always seem to have some sort of etching. You can see the cubic shape, but then you can also see that it's undergone some modification. And in this case, it looks like it's been etched, but it's got that lovely light purple kind of lavender color. And last but definitely not least, probably some of my favorite specimens of the trip. One of these was, I believe this one was gifted to me by a fellow collector who originally was looking in this pocket, and then after searching it a little bit and searching a couple other pockets in the boulder that he was searching, he moved on to look elsewhere, and he said I was fine to check this pocket out further. So I went and picked in the back and picked through some of the softer matrix and outrolled this lovely big octahedral pyrite perched on top of a dogtooth crystal. And then this one was a smaller one that I found myself, but it's been it was on an opposite boulder of the one that first we discovered the pyrite in. That was because the opposite boulder was actually basically the rock had split in two, and two sections had fallen apart, so I was just basically searching on the other half. But in total, I came out with 4 specimens with nice octahedral pyrites, these 3 individual pyrite crystals, and then that fluorite crystal that I showed you with a couple small octahedral pyrites. This brings us to the end of the video. Please do comment below. Let me know what you guys found the most interesting in this video, which specimens or which mineral type is your favorite in this video. I'd love to see your guys' feedback. Please also, if you haven't already, please like and subscribe. I do a bunch of rockhounding related videos, so if that's your cup of tea, please consider subscribing. And please folks, just have a wonderful day, and I will see you guys in the next video.